Hi guys, Justin from Belfield Music. Today we've got a really special guest. We've got Jakub from Arturia, who's one of their product specialists. He's going to be joining us to take a look at the Minifreak. So let's jump right in. So Jakub, welcome to Australia. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Hi everyone.
Yeah, if you could maybe just start off by telling us a little bit about Arturia as a company and how you got started with them.
Yeah, for sure. So Arturia is a music technology brand based in France, and we are making musical instruments, software synthesizers, but also hardware synthesizers and many other devices such as audio interfaces or MIDI controllers. I am the product specialist at Arturia and content creator as well. And I've been there for 4 years, promoting the products, doing workshops, and creating content for our online platforms.
Excellent. And when you started 4 years ago, were you did you start as a product specialist?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That was the job that I've taken from the beginning.
Yeah.
Throughout the pandemic, we focused a little bit more on the content creation side. But once the pandemic eased in, we were back again on track, on the road, doing workshops and connecting with people.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so Arturia, I know Arturia primarily as a software company.
Yeah.
And, you guys started as a software company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we started at the end of the 90s, and we started as a company that was modeling hardware synthesizers into the digital realm. Mm-hmm. So at the beginning of the 2000s, as computers started to be more popular, there was this need for the musicians and for the users to be able to use famous instruments which were quite expensive at the time and really not affordable and not accessible for many musicians and users. So we tapped into that, and we gathered developers, and we had this idea to model all these great hardware synthesizers into the software realm. And that's how we became present in the industry, and throughout the years we've also started to make hardware analog synthesizers, and then we've expanded our range of products into audio interfaces, effects, and MIDI controllers.
Excellent. And I guess with the Minifreak we've got here today is like a very nice balance between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking at the pinnacle of the achievements of the last 20 years. So this is a product which encompasses the software and the hardware, and we've put a lot of attention to creating not only a great sounding instrument, but also an instrument that can be easily incorporated into the workflow, into the DAW, and allow people to actually make music and record their ideas on the go. And we achieved that with having Minifreak as a hardware and also Minifreak V as the software counterpart.
Yeah, see, I should have and didn't know that Minifreak was available as software. So look, I'm really interested to dig into Minifreak and get an idea of how the synth works, and then maybe we can take a look at the software component as well.
Absolutely. So this is the first instrument where we've actually achieved to produce and design an independent software counterpart of it. It can generate sound on its own, and it comes with the package with the hardware as well.
Excellent.
So when you get the Minifreak, you get the Minifreak V as well. And I'm super happy to show you how it all works.
Yeah, brilliant. Let's dig in and have a bit of a play.
Let's dive in. Totally.
Awesome.
Minifreak is a 6-voice digital polyphonic synthesizer, and its strength and power relies in the oscillator section, which are designed in a way that you have 2 oscillators, and each of the oscillators can have up to 17 different synthesis engines. So we are looking at a synthesizer which offers a huge variety of timbres and tones. We have basic waveforms, virtual analog waveforms, FM synthesis, car plus strong, and many other engines. And on top of that, in the second oscillator section, at the end of the list, there are effects processors, such as filters or distortions, which allow you to distort or process signal coming from the oscillator number 1. So there is a huge tonal variety coming out of it. Then there is the analog filter section to add the creaminess to the sound. And of course, a big digital effect section with 3 effect slots. And within each of the slots, you can have up to 7 or 8 amazingly sounding effects, modulating effects such as phasers, choruses, or flangers, time-based effects such as delays and reverbs, as well as multiband compression or distortion. And finally, a big part of the Minifreak experience is the expressiveness of the instrument and also the ever-changing nature of the sound. So the expressiveness part comes from the macros over here, which allows us to modulate every parameter on the Microfreak, and then within the move of our hands, change the nature of the sound in an instant. So at the end we have the mode matrix section with LFOs, envelopes, and other modulators that allows us to put the sound in motion. And also there is the arpeggiator and sequencer section to sequence the notes alongside playing them on the keyboard.
So I'm kind of hearing that Minifreak is as much a synthesizer for music production as it is for like sound design and whatnot, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have designed a special workflow that allows you to start designing the sound on the hardware and then going to the software to finalize the sound. Let's say you are starting your sound design in your studio on the hardware with a very tactile experience with knobs and the keyboard and all the controls. And then let's say you're going to your friend's studio suddenly to jam, and you take your laptop with you and you have the hardware linked to the software, and this allows you to continue designing the sound on the software somewhere else. Having this connected workflow where you never really know where the boundary is between the hardware and the software, so both of these are sort of merged into one.
And say we take the sound design offline and work on it through the software alone, can users then bring that back onto the hardware?
Absolutely. So there is a designed workflow which allows you to exchange the presets. There is a library where you can save your presets, name them, categorize them, and then send them to the Minifreak hardware.
Which is a first in our industry, is that right?
As far as I know, this is the only solution at the moment where you have a hardware synthesizer and you have a software synthesizer that also creates sound with this sort of deep integration, and also workflow, because we wanted to design a workflow that allows people to take one instrument and make their music with just one instrument in an easy way, without creating external instrument channels, without having to delete the audio and re-record again. Just giving the users and musicians this comfort of having the MIDI and the audio exchanging all the time, allowing them to make music and have fun with it.
Jacob, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, you guys can check out the Minifreak in-store or on our website. The simple fact that Arturia puts so much thought into workflow for us musicians and our producers out there just tells me that Arturia are constantly innovating and the reasons why they're one of my favorite synth companies. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.